Leader Series, where I have the privilege of talking to some of the leading people who are running large organizations, complex organizations, and asking really important questions. Today, I'm thrilled to have Dr. Fagan of the New York City school system join us. Dr. Fagan, would you introduce yourself for the audience, please?
Sure. Thank you, Maury. It's a pleasure to be here first and foremost. I'm Dr. Patrick Fagan, and my official title is the Chief Talent Human Resources Officer for New York City Public Schools. And I steward the talent strategy for the largest and the most complex public workforce system in the country. About 148,000 employees serving under 1 million students.
Right. And you're dealing with unions and non-unions, and you're running small cities in some cases, right?
Yes, 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 yes. And it's funny because my work sits at like the intersection, I like to say, of talent, behavioral science, and large scale systems execution,
Right.
especially with my background as an industrial organizational psychologist.
Right. So you've been doing this job for about 3 years now, right?
Correct.
What have you learned in those 3 years, or what have been the key, maybe even surprises or pieces of wisdom you've picked up?
The pieces I learned from this book that I had read prior, and it's called it speaks about teamship, and it's by 𝙘𝙤-𝙚𝙚𝙬𝙚, and it's about co-elevation, because inheriting a system this large, a workforce this large, and even individuals who do this work on a daily, it was for me to come in and not so much upset the apple cart as it is to look within the our pool and co-elevate leaders that can walk along me to help me do this work. I came in humbly and I still lead humbly as the leader, but I know that I'm only as good as those individuals that I surround myself with on my executive team.
But
And that's something I learned.
for an organization that big with as many pieces to it, it's the only way you can do it. And how do you do that? How do you figure out who the right people are, and how do you elevate them? It sounds great in theory, but how do you
Practice.
really do that?
Yeah. Um, so a couple of ways. I like to tell people, and like I said, every day is an interview. And me being a behavioral scientist, I observe people's behavior, their work product. And like I said, everyone, it's meeting people where they're at. And it's really understanding people's strengths, and I'm not going to say weaknesses, but understanding and sometimes pointing out their blind spots. Because the reality is, replace Patrick or Dr. Fagan, whatever you want to call me, and the work needs to continue. It's not going to stop. We're still going to need to hire teachers. We're still going to have to hire custodians. We're still going to have to hire wherever those gaps are and fill in. But how I see my role as that steward and leader as making it easier for those who've been trying to actually do that work. So how do I do it in practice? It's meeting with them. It's really putting in motivational science techniques, such as I do book studies with them based and where I can find practical examples and give them advice on how they can best lead the work. I always give them a challenge in the sense of I give them a goal, but I'm not going to tell them how to get there. And that's usually the piece. And when I say coal elevate, allow them the freedom because it gives them agency over their work. What I've found way too many times in large organizations is we want to micromanage and we want it done a certain way. Where from my vantage point, I don't have that time. I want a certain outcome. How you get there, that's up to you. And for those who cannot meet just that expectation, then I know I have a challenge that either I counsel them up or maybe find something that's a much better fit for their skill set and their competencies.
And that's got to be tough for you because you're under a microscope. Your entire department is under a microscope. So having the courage to let people figure out how to get to the results you want has got to take some courage, to say the least.
Mm.
How do you sleep at night?
I sleep well. I have a sleep number. No, that's the commercial. No, but Integrity. Integrity. And so a couple of principles. First of all, my leadership, and this it all ties in. I tell there's four pillars that my leadership, if you ask any of my executive staff reports to me, it's built, or I explained a little bit about teamship, which is about co-elevating everyone. I can't be the one like in the hub. If we look at the wheel, all the spokes can't come to me, especially in a time and an age where work is done rapidly with technology and in teams. I cannot be the cog that holds up that progress. So definitely teamship. Empathy. I always try to put myself in my subordinate shoes to then see what are some of the issues, challenges, or what areas aren't they taking advantage of. Um, Three, faith. And I'm not so much talking about the faith in the biblical sense, but if we were to use that to juxtapose, I have a faith and belief in people until you show me otherwise. So it's to put that faith in individuals to know that they can do it. And sort of, once they know that you actually believe in them, they actually show and they rise to that occasion. And the final one I would say is resilience. You know, we learn from our mistakes. And I try to, and those who report up to me and they understand, I'm not looking for perfection, but I am looking for you to learn and be better. And so those four pillars I rest my leadership on. And so that's how I sleep at night. And I make sure, oh, and there's one, sorry, that I forgot that I've been infusing in that I would add is clarity. Clarity, because that saves the time, the back and forth. I always like to walk away from a meeting or from an agenda or from any time, because like to your point, no one has that time for the back and forth. And it's okay to ask questions so that we're clear. Is this what you needed? Is this what we want? And is this the outcome? So I would definitely, to just summarize, empathy, clarity, teamship, faith, and resilience.
I love it. And you do that understanding that if something breaks, it's going to be on the front page of the newspaper. I think most of your counterparts in other organizations don't have nearly the kind of microscope that you're doing. So the fact that you can do that, you're obviously in a highly regulated industry. I mean,
Yes.
you've got children, which makes the risks very high. And you've got a union that gives you limited flexibility in some things. So
Mhm.
you're up against a lot of constraints that I think most corporate people, who think, oh, compliance is after me. It's like, yeah, but you've only got compliance.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to underscore the work that I do too is in partnership with those unions, and it's always great, and a lot of external stakeholders and partners. So that too, I would want to say you need to be collaborative.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have collaborative as part of one of the
Yeah, and patience, I suspect.
end page.
Uh,
Correct, correct.
yeah, it all takes time. Wonderful. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. I understand
Hmm.
you've got a lot to do. If people are interested in connecting with you, are you open to either LinkedIn invitations or people reaching out if they want to continue the conversation?
Yeah, please, Maury. That's the best way right now. LinkedIn, and my assistant monitors that, and she will for as long as they're not trying to sell me anything.
Right.
But yes, please, LinkedIn is the best way for people to contact me.
Oh, that's great. Thanks. Well, Dr. Fagan, thank you. I appreciate the time. This has been great talking to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Maury.
Bye-bye.
This has been a great conversation. Bye bye.